Great. Good morning, everybody. Tracy Billings here. I was going to actually teach a class today, but it didn't get added to the schedule. So I will be here on Tuesdays for Ageless Strength at 11 a.m. So I hope to see you next week. But in the meantime, we'll do a little 30-minute shortened version of Ageless using just dumbbells. And if you don't have any dumbbells at home, you can pick up either some water bottles or soup cans or something like that to use. Doesn't need to be a lot of weight. We'll try to do some strength training, balance work, and then flexibility. And we'll fit that into a half-hour session. All right, you're ready to go. Sitting up tall in your chair. So if you have a back to the chair, try not to lounge back into it. So we're sitting straight up, and we'll just loosen up the legs again, starting to warm up the calf muscles by doing some heel raises. And we can start to lift the toes as well, rocking back and forth. Feeling that tighten as you come to the top of the toes, right in the back of your calf. And just breathing naturally here, but keeping your posture upright. Being careful not to lean backward as you lift the heels. Good. All right, we'll do some of those standing when we get to the strength part, but let's warm up the quads a little by just doing an alternate kick to the front. And this one we should feel in the front of the leg. So get that leg to straighten out as far as you can comfortably. And then control that weight on the way down as well. Don't the leg just drop to the floor. And we'll do a few more of those. Knee joint to loosen up, get lubricated. And now lift and hold. And let's make a circle with the foot and reverse your direction. Again, always checking in with your posture to make sure that you're not slouching down, and we'll change legs. Lift and hold. Feel that quadricep tighten asymmetrically. And reverse. Nice. Now we're going to work the hip flexor. So if we lift the knee a little higher than the hip, we can just hold it there, or you can also put some light pressure on it. Engage the muscle to keep the leg to the floor. And not to hold your breath. And then we'll switch sides. Lift, hold, or light pressure. And breathe. And out. And move it back down. And let's just open up the hips a little by pressing the knees out with the soles of the feet closer together. And then we'll work on our core and our spine. So for the first exercise, we'll do flexion and extension. So extension comes by leaning back against your chair back. If you don't have a chair back, you could do that just by holding on to the chair and lifting your chest toward the ceiling. If I have a chair back, I'm going to open up the arms and lean back. And then exhale and bring your arms out in front, like wrapping them around an imaginary ball. Let go of the ball, open and stretch the front of the chest. As you exhale, round your spine as you pull your belly in. Turn this way. The extension is here, and the flexion, I'm rounding my lower back. Inhale, exhale. Good. And then we can turn that into a little bit more of a core exercise by coming to the front of your chair. If you have a chair back, you can lean the shoulders there. If you don't, just hold on to the front of the chair. Again, I want to pull my belly in, and then I'm going to lift the knee up high, using your abdominals to pull it toward your chest. I want to be careful as I'm lifting that I'm not going into that extension, so I don't want my back to arch at all. Make it a little harder. Pick one knee up as the other foot is touching down. Or feel free to stay with the one leg at a time, depending on how it feels in your core. Abdominals and arch back. One more, back and forth. And then we'll come all the way up top. Take the arm up and stretch the side of your waist and your ribs away from your hips. We'll go back to the other side, reaching up. If this position isn't good, you can always do it with the arm bent and leaning and reaching. And all the way up. And then we'll do a little rotation. For stretching, you can use the arm to help stretch you around by turning the head and pulling your shoulder back. Return to the front, and we'll go in this direction. Hand can come behind you or behind the chair back. Face forward, and now we'll do a core exercise in rotation. We'll do a march, but as we do that, we're gonna go to the opposite knee. So hands at your ears, try not to pull on your head as you turn, just let your head turn with your trunk. Exhaling, inhaling. You don't have to touch the knee. Be careful that you're not just putting the elbow across the front. The other elbow pulls back, so you're rotating. However far your body feels comfortable. If twisting causes an issue in your lower back, you can always just do the march with a little bit of turn with the shoulders without leaning toward that knee. Let's do a couple more each side. Inhale, inhale, again, and last time. Good. Bring the arms down, roll the shoulders. Feel how the tension comes into the neck, and you can really sit by pulling the shoulders down and back. One more time. And then let's loosen the head a little more. We've turned it, but let's let the ear drop toward the shoulder. And then do that to the other side. Okay, so let's do a couple of dumbbell exercises seated, and then we can come to a standing position. And you can modify by doing some of the standing exercises in the chair as well. So we're gonna do a bicep curl. You can have the dumbbells facing in, and then you can turn them to face your shoulders as you come up. Now, if I'm too heavy with the weights, they kind of pull me down, so I want to be able to stay upright. Again, not leaning on the chair back, but using my core muscles to support my spine. And keeping my chin tucked in just a little bit so that I don't get the forward head position. Let's finish with 5 more of those. It works well for strength training to get a couple of sets of the exercises for the different body parts. Okay. So we're going to work the biceps a little more by holding the arms bent to 90 degrees. And then I can get my arm to open up externally by pulling the hands out, but keeping your elbows in. Still feel some work in the bicep, isometric contraction here. And I'm rolling the upper arm out and in as if I'm clapping my hands together and apart. Let's drop down, breathe, in, out, and last time. Good. And so now we'll do our squats. You can put the dumbbells down if you want for this one. And that way you have the chair if you need it. I'm going to bring my feet back a little bit and spread them at least hip-width apart so my heels are touching. If you need to give yourself a little push on the first one, you can. Same thing, as you sit down, you're reaching your hips back, but you can touch the chair if you need to. If your chair is too low, you can put a little lower back in it so that you're only coming to here, depending on how your knees feel. Good. If you want, you can add in dumbbell, holding it in both hands or one in each side. And I'm going to stand and then almost sit down. And then stand, almost sit. And then if I turn sideways, you can see that my hips are sticking back behind me, but I'm not rounding forward. I want to land as if I would sitting down. And then as I stand up, I push my heels. Okay. That's open and lifted. I'll do a few more of those. Watch for this position at the bottom. If you go too low, sometimes your knees drop in. So try to only go as far as you can go with the knees right in line with your toes. Okay. And now we can add in the curl to that. Or you can just stand here and do your second set of curls. If you want, I'm going to put my feet wider, right in front of my chair again, and I'm going to squat and stand. Here's where it's really important that you don't move your upper body down to the dumbbells, but bring the dumbbells to your shoulders. The knees start to bother, you can just stand still and do your second set of curls. Everyone's deciding how far down you're comfortable to go. And the last 3, 2, and 1. Good. Let's take a seat again. This time we're going to tighten our buttocks. So as if we would do a bridge on the floor rather than getting down on the floor. I'm just going to squeeze my buttocks in. You can see that tighten and then release. Tighten and release. This is an easy one to do anytime that you're sitting for a long time. Get about 15 of these in before the light changes. Without driving on these roads. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale. We do these in class often with a ball between the legs. You could always put a little rolled up towel here so you can feel the legs squeezing in as well as the buttocks. 2 more. And then last one. Good. All right, we'll come to standing. When we do the exercise of standing, we'll be working the muscles in the standing leg as well as the lifting leg. The first one we're going to do, though, is our calf raise standing. So now my body is quite a bit heavier as I come up, and I have to balance at the top. So you can be behind your chair or beside your chair. And we're going to do the same one we did before, being careful not to lean forward or backward. Lift the toes. Lift the heels, toes, heels. So we're going to change that warm-up exercise now into a strengthening exercise and a balance exercise. And this helps us with postural awareness. As we move, you can tell if the body is starting to come forward, and you'll be more alert to that when you're walking around if you start to get forward, or even if you're stepping up and your body wants to fall backward, you'll be able to tell where you are and keep that body straight up no matter what's going on below your spine. 1 more, and the toes, good. And now let's put 1 foot in front of the other. It doesn't have to be directly in front, but try to have your foot close to the other foot, even if you have to spread it apart a little bit. And then come up and balance there on your tightrope with your heels lifted. Hold and breathe. Good. And come down. Switch the front foot. Again, making adjustments. If it's too wobbly, you can move that foot over just a little bit. And stay up on your toes for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, the first one we'll do for our quad without any weight. We're just going to have the knee lifted and we'll take it out to the front just like we did in the chair. But now instead of sitting on my glutes, I'm tightening my glutes, especially in the standing leg. I can have my hand on the chair or I can try taking it off. If you feel like you're leaning backward with the leg coming up, don't lift the leg as high, just stretch it out to the front. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we can do our other leg. Again, if we're close enough to the chair, we'll be able to touch that if we need to. In class, I always remind you to look at the mirror to make sure you're not leaning over as you do the exercise. So try to stay up straight this way and also straight and not leaning back that way. Feel the standing leg working. And breathing in and out for 2 more. Good. Now let's add an arm reach. So you could use a light weight if you're okay reaching up overhead. But if you have any shoulder issues, you're just going to reach that arm wherever you can. I'm actually going to go back to the first leg. So I'm lifting this leg. This hand is near the chair. So actually I'm going to lift the inside leg. Yeah. And I'm going to take the opposite arm up. So use this hand or not, you're going to reach and come back down. Reach and come back down. Good. If this doesn't work well for your arm, you can always do it down here. And another option would be using the dumbbell. Yeah. And then try going up. Yep. Give everybody modifications for your body. And 1 more. Good. So to get this leg, I'm going to move to the other side. And that way, I have a free hand for the chair, my inside leg, and my arm, opposite arm, can go up and down. Good. And again, if you wanted to, you could do the curl. Keep that arm lower so it doesn't bother your shoulder. Or you could add weight to the overhead press if your shoulder is okay with that. I'm still being careful with all of the things that I did when I was just stretching the leg out. So I'm not lifting the leg too high. I'm not leaning over to the side, even if I'm touching my chair. Last 2. And 1. Good. So let's work the back side of the leg. So for this one, you can stand behind your chair, but I'll come this way so you can see how my leg is lifting. I'm lifting the heel up, but not bringing the knee up. If I come here, I'm working the front of the hip. If I come here, I'm working the back of the leg and the buttocks. Now you'll feel this tighten, balancing out the tightening that we did in the front of the leg. When I lift the heel, I don't want to bring my body forward because I'll lose some of that opening and lengthening of the front of the leg. 2 more. And now when I lift that leg straight, I don't want to stand straight up because when I lift the leg, it's going to get into my back. So now I'm going to reach forward a little bit and take that leg straight out. When I reach forward, I want to be careful that I'm not rounding over because that won't feel good in my back. So my back is nice and straight. I'm looking out in front rather than down at the chair. Tapping the toes and lifting the leg. Squeeze. And I'm only lifting as high as I can go without my back arching up. Body stays steady. And tighten the buttocks. And let's finish up with 3 more here. 2, 1. Okay. Again, you can do this one from behind your chair, but I'll turn sideways. And you can check the position again. The knees are side by side. Pulling with the back of my leg. Keep my body stationary. You could also do this with a little weight around your ankle. 3 more. I'm not touching, but I'm still working the balance muscles. And then again, I'm going to straighten the leg. So as I straighten the leg, I'm going to tip my body forward a little bit. And I'm going to keep that leg straight as I lift. Touch the toes down, squeeze the buttocks. We already did the bent leg, so on this one, you want to keep the leg straight and feel more of the work being done. Be careful to keep your hips squared up if you can, so that you're not lifting this way. Abs in as I squeeze the buttocks. 4, 3, repeat each one. Last time. Okay. And we'll come all the way up. And then we're going to do one out to the side. So we'll work the legs in all directions. So again, if I'm near my chair, it will tell me if I'm leaning over to get that leg up, or if I can lift that leg up, out. You can see my toes are pointing forward as I lift the leg. If I go too high, my leg is going to turn toward the ceiling. I want to work this part of my glute. And also this standing glute. And again, you could lift the arm or touch it down. We'll do a couple more of those. And switch so you can see this leg coming out, making sure that I'm not leaning onto my chair and I'm not lifting this leg so high that it turns. Toes and knee pointing forward. Inhale, exhale. So lengthen your spine as if you can lift it up to the head. And we'll do 3 more on this side. That's standing leg, as well as your moving leg. So we're going to come back to the chair and we'll do our rowing here. Now, sometimes we do that standing, leaning over, but since we already did some of that work, we don't want anyone's back to bother them. So we'll take 1 dumbbell at a time. We can do our triceps and our back. So I'm going to turn sideways, but you can lean forward a little bit. And instead of standing and doing that, we can have the arm resting on the thigh. I still want to be careful that I don't round my head and shoulders as I pull that elbow up toward the ceiling. We'll start with just a few rows. And I can feel this in my upper back. Trying to stay out of the neck by not pulling my shoulder toward my ear. Now, keep that elbow up and press back 3 times. While swinging the arm. Now bring it back down. Lift, hold it there. 3, 2, and 1. Let's do that again. Push back. 3, 2, 1. Last time. And then I'll turn the other way so that you can see this arm moving. And again, feel free, you can do it here in your chair. One arm and then the other. As I tip forward, it's from the hips, the back is nice and straight. I'm going to do a few rows first. And now how it can come up, shoulder pinching. 2 more. And then lift and hold. Let's add the tricep in. 1 more. And slowly return. Pull the elbow up. Press back. And down. And being careful not to let my arms swing forward and press back. And keep the elbow in place. And move down. So the hand is by the hip, I press back, and I just bring it right there by the hip again. 2, 3, got 1 set left. Press back. 1, 2, 3, and down. Okay, great. We're gonna go to the last exercise. We'll come back up standing and do the bicep and tricep together. So what I'm going to do is bend my knees just a little bit and then lean in a tiny bit so when this arm comes behind me, it's not going to hurt my shoulder. And then what we'll do is bring 1 forward to the bicep curl, 1 back to the tricep kickback, and switch. This is different than the running that we do sometimes. Now you can do this standing straight up, you just won't be able to push the arm back quite as far. So if this feels better for your back, stand straight up and do it like this. Yep. Or here. With a controlled pace so you can feel the arms working, moving that dumbbell forward, the opposite. 1 goes back. 3, 2, 1. Okay. And then before we stretch, we'll do 1 more for the core. So we did a little bit of forward with the knee lifting and rotating. So now the leg is going to come out to the side. I can still have this hand here if I need it, and I've got my other one up by my ear. I'm going to turn this leg out, lift the knee out, and down toward it with my elbow. Again, it might be small, but I can feel this area contracting, rib cage pulling toward hips. Back up tall, lift the knee up and out, and back up. And you could try it without the hand, and then you add in that balance component. 2 more. And we'll switch to the other side. Turn this knee out as it lifts. You're going to pull the elbow toward it. I'm going to try not to let my body come forward to get there, but lean to the side. Rib cage pulling toward this hip and thigh. Okay, you decide how high you can bring that leg. You can just lift a little bit and you can get a smaller motion if it's better for your balance. Last two. And one. Nice. Let's take a couple stretches standing. So I'm going to bring the right arm up and lean over. And like I did seated in the chair, but you might be able to go a little further to stretch down into the hip. And then, yeah. Again, you can modify by bringing the arm just across or up here, or up the chin. Stretching the side ribs. Good, and then we'll stretch our neck. Let's bring your left hand up and bring the ear toward the shoulder. Stretch your arm out. Get a little bigger stretch, and now drop that arm beside you or behind you, opening up the space between the ear and the shoulder on the right. And now just take that arm a little higher behind you if you can. And then you also could take this one up so that you're trying to walk your fingertips toward each other, stretching the shoulders and the tricep. All right, we're going to go the other way. I'm pulling the ear toward the shoulder. Opposite arm comes out, it lets my head go a little further. Arm either comes down to feel the stretch, pulling the shoulder down, or behind your back, if that's comfortable. And then we'll do the shoulder stretch. This arm can go behind you if that works. The other one can walk up. You could just do one arm or the other. And breathe. And release. Good. We'll do a stretch for our legs by taking a seat and taking one leg out to the front with the toes up, reaching down, moving forward from the hips, and then you can relax the head and shoulder, dropping your chest toward the thigh. And then pull the toes up. Even if you're not touching the toes, you can use the muscles to pull your toes and feel that stretch in your calf as well. Support yourself to come back up and switch legs. Stretch forward from the hip. As you reach down, let the head and shoulders relax. The chest comes a little closer to the leg. Pull the toes towards you, or literally pull the toes towards you. Breathe into the back of the leg. Feel it in the calf as well. One more breath in and out. And you can bring yourself all the way back up. We'll do one final rotation again here. Turning the head, the trunk, and then cross over, and we'll go in this direction. And then we'll get our outer thigh, hip and glute by taking one leg up and crossing it over your knee. If this position doesn't work for you, you can bring the leg a little lower and you can still get that external rotation by resting your foot just below the knee. And if you're really flexible, you can lean forward here to deepen that stretch into your glute. And let's do that on the other side. Bring the leg either across the shin or across the thigh. Drop this knee down. Lean in up. Need an extra little stretch. We'll finish with a nice deep breath all together. Inhale as you bring the arms up. Fill the lungs. Pause at the top. And then exhale all the air out, bringing the hands down to heart center. And thank you for joining me. I hope to see you in person next week. I'll be here on Tuesday. Have a great day.